It took them 2 years, but the finale of last season is finally here. Or is it the penultimate?
In Game of Thrones tradition, episode 9's that big, like, Jon Snow fighting on the wall, or the Black
10 is the
Order,
come
and
down.
10's that come down, the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
So this was season 2, episode 9 all the way. It really did just feel like we're just leading on from where we just were.
It was such an interesting episode in good and bad ways for me.
Yes.
So overall, I'd say good, considering as an episode, I'd be like, yes, that was good. But because it was 2 years ago, they had to structurally remind us of so many things at the get-go. So like we had so many scenes we didn't even need. Let's just start with what Rhaenyra does this episode, because it's super easy and it kicks off immediately from last season, where she's like, oh, we can go to King's Landing. I can avoid war again. Even though last episode I was like, wartime.
Well, it starts with her excitedly telling Jace, almost like she doesn't want to hear any problem with it. Alicent said it's completely chill. I promise it's chill. Aemon and Vhagar have been sent off to Harrenhal. Like, should we go send a scout? Do like a sneaky check?
I get it's meant to be like she's excited to not do war again. She's just a bad queen. Like, she's just honestly terrible. Like, to take the word of the enemy, what this person said is completely factual, and we're going to do it.
And without even clarifying.
Yeah.
Like, she's excited because with Vhagar gone, we can just roll on in and take over because we've got all the dragons. And Alicent has promised this. And Jace is like, this is stupid. You can't do this.
Almost like you would have been a good king.
Because I think she says we're going to go there in 2 days. They need at least 2 days to open up the gates and put up the bunting. Welcome Rhaenyra, I guess. But she then sends her Dragonseeds with all their experience in dragon riding, pops them on the God's Eye, says when Vhagar comes, you go attack her.
Yeah, no training.
No training.
And they're not even, they're just waiting.
It's not like they've got word to Daemon going, hey, 3 secret dragons over here. So when Vhagar comes to you, fly over to the God's Eye and we'll just...
Yeah, there's no plan there.
There's no plan there. So just before they get into all the detail, Baela turns up, really stressed. And she's like, oh, war's happening. We're fucked.
The war at the end of last season.
Triarchy's here, we're absolutely buggered. So Rhaenyra is like, right, this is it. I'm actually going to do some shit. I'm going to get off this fucking rock.
The same way Rhaenys did it, I'm going to go do it.
I'm going to go do it. Even though she doesn't have really any battle experience and her dragon is basically like a cat. In the books, it doesn't even hunt. Food comes to it because it reflects its owner.
With the show's the show for me. But like, they haven't shown her dragon very much.
No.
It made a big appearance in season 1 because she was always on it. It was always like a threat.
Yeah.
But ever since then, she really hasn't even touched it.
They like showed it when she was having the stillbirth, like they were connected in the flashing.
But apart from like
that.
emotional connection to her dragon, she hasn't used it as a threat really either.
So she goes to her room and she's all excited. She's going to put on her dragon riding. And Jace goes to the King's Guard, the one who swore to him and Daemon back in season 1.
Oh, is that what happened? You see, they never redid that. For me, it was the angle that he will protect his queen, but like that's not protecting your queen. Like, yes, his job is protecting the queen, but his job is to do whatever the queen says. The Kingsguard is not her nanny that does what's best for her.
Jace gets him on a technical. Jace is like, but if you follow what she says, then she won't be safe.
Yeah, and it's like from that moment, it was Jace saying, I'm 2 months from retirement.
Jace is all excited because he thinks him going in on his dragon and Baela going in on Moondancer, they're going to kick ass.
I really enjoyed the way Rhaenyra went into that scene where she was like, she's actually going to do something. I was keen, so I was very annoyed by cockblock Jace. But when she was keen for it and Jace is like, what happens if you die? And then she goes, then you'll become king. For a little bit there, she was actually going with the way that works. Like, kings and queens go into battle all the time, especially when they can ride atop a dragon. You can tell Ryan Condal didn't want her to not want war for that moment. It was him giving himself a technicality where it's like, oh, we won't just make her do nothing. We'll make her be forced to do nothing.
But this is what we had back in season 2. Because right now, in book world, Rhaenyra is still bedridden because of all the trauma that has happened to her. Because it's just a few weeks of time.
Yeah, this was just a bad idea for a show.
So Jace has been running shop. Jace did the Dragonseeds. Jace has sent his 2 younger brothers, the Daemon sons, over, like he's made a deal with a prince of one of the free cities. And they're in the Gullet in the book. So he's going there to try and save my little brother.
Yeah, so he had more stakes involved than just, I'm going to help out in this battle.
And he goes with Nettles, who isn't in this.
Yep. Rhaenyra does nothing except has an emotional crying episode. The lines were so
directly
gross.
from Queen Elizabeth.
I did hear that, yes.
I may appear to have the weak and feeble body of a woman, but I possess the heart and spirit of a king.
And she chops up her feminine
Her feminine gown.
I'm tired of Rhaenyra and Alicent being cock-blocked in the show.
I didn't mind so much Alicent because she technically has no power.
She did some scheming this episode, but for stupid reasons, but still.
I find that a fun dynamic when Rhaenyra has power, can't use it, Alicent has no power, so she tries to get it. I find that interesting enough. But like having Rhaenyra dispersed into tears because she got locked in a room.
Princess in the Tower, yeah.
It doesn't build character for me. It doesn't make me want her to succeed. I assume she's going to go crazy. I think even in the trailer, she goes a bit nuts. So I think maybe they're trying to do that. So like once she finally is unleashed, she's really angry and upset now.
Once again, it's, oh no, plot-wise, Rhaenyra wasn't doing anything in the book. In the book, Jace was doing all this stuff, the Dragonseeds, the organising, and Corlys Velaryon was helping him. And this was the point where everyone was like, wow, Jace will be a good king one day. And then him dying is going to be that tragic, a good king that never was.
Classic Game of Thrones.
Classic brown-haired Targaryens.
Brown-haired Targaryen curse.
So we didn't do that because I guess they didn't want it to be the boy running shop. But then why didn't they last season then just have it be Rhaenyra and Jace share some responsibility?
It would have been interesting from the history aspect if you go like they actually both did stuff.
Yeah.
But then the historians were like, no, the man did it because she's a woman. And then like you don't have to stick so closely to the book, considering they're not at all for most things.
If Rhaenyra went with Jace, she went and Jace followed, and then they're together and she has to witness this happen.
Instead, this is the second time she's hearing about her son dying.
We'll see where we go. But yeah, I think for Rhaenyra, for our main character of the show, this was an extreme disappointing thing. I kind of like she was picking at her fingers like Alicent does, but that's really me just like trying to find something to go at.
So contrast that with Alicent, who actually gets some stuff to do this episode.
Doing what I always wanted her to do, just not for the reasons I wanted her to do it.
Okay, so how did you feel about the kiss? Did you hate it?
I think this show, obviously, for some reason, has a fascination with mother-son stuff.
Daemon and his mum in the dream.
And I can only imagine we're going to get some Aemon dream shit in Harrenhal too.
For me, this wasn't like a sexual kiss. It was like a power dynamic kiss and like a Aemon's finally king. He can literally do whatever he wants.
They did say in like one of the podcasts, I mean, it's almost like Aemon doesn't know how to... He's nervous about it, and it's like he struggles to even... Him doing that is such a childish thing that he doesn't even know really what it is. Like, he knows he's kissing his mother.
But he's never had a girlfriend. Like, to me, that's what it felt like. So they at least got that for me then.
It felt awkward,
but,
obviously.
Yes. And like the way Alicent just went with it, didn't react because he is crazy. And she also does want something, but also, like scared for her life at the same time.
As I said 2 years ago that I wanted Alicent to play all the people, like the idea that she has Larys on side because he likes feet stuff.
Yep.
That she can get Aemon on side because he likes to be doubted. She can do Aegon because he's a bit of a plonker. So she plays into, like we see with like the Tyrell women in the main series, plays on the fact that she's just a feeble old woman, but actually is turning the head in charge.
They took away all of that in season 2, actually. Because the feet stuff was season 1 at the end. And now that season 3's back, they're leaking some of that back in. Because I do like that part of her character.
I do. Like the idea that even though in the book it's much more like, no, her and her dad were even Steven, they were in charge running this together because of clear grievances she has with this family and Rhaenyra.
And it also makes more sense as why they wouldn't train Aegon to be king.
She finally says that.
Yeah, but like that was on purpose. You wanted him to be an idiot.
They wanted to be in control of a puppet king.
In this, she's like, whoopsie doopsie, forgot to make my son the king. And it's like, no, that's not what that was. You were purposely making him an idiot. And so that while he's out whoring, you're the queen.
You're running in his name. You're ruling in his name.
Genius.
Yeah, brilliant. Because he's the marketing gold dragon handsome king.
Because like you don't really like the Targaryens. Like you love your kids.
Yeah, but imagine that. But imagine you hate the Targaryens so much you even hate your fucking kids.
I mean, that's interesting at the very least. It's an internal
I can't believe I have
quarrel.
to marry my 2 kids together, this fucking family. Like,
yeah.
Alicent does some scheming because she gets there and she's told the king wants a word with you. And she starts going to the bedrooms, goes, no, he's in the throne room. And it's Aemon. Aemon's like, Aegon's abdicate the throne. I'm in charge now. I'm the king. So I can't afford to go to Harrenhal. I have to stay here because Rhaenyra's coming.
But he's saying it in kind of a scared, like, because he's such a good actor. You can tell that he's not doing it out of altruism.
No.
That scared little boy's creeping ever so.
Yeah.
Because end of last season, which is why this would have worked better at the end of last season.
You saw that fear.
We saw all those dragons. He shit himself a little bit. So when he goes home and says, actually, I've decided the king should stay hidden in his castle protected.
And then Helena spells it out, literally. Like
That's a good thing for Aemon to do. Whereas, when it's separated by 2 years of time and you get that little flashback, it's not enough.
But there has to be someone right now who was watching episode 8 and then went, okay, next episode, and didn't realise they went to a new season.
It probably feels much better.
Yeah. So he goes to his mum. He gives all the details. She comes up with that. I mean, it's amazing that she didn't preload an excuse, but she's like, "Oh, I was in the Godswood." It's because I wasn't really needed around here.
She also was in the Godswood.
She was for a bit, sure.
Good little planning.
He goes, "Don't worry, because I've got your uncle, Ormond Hightower's coming."
That wasn't spelled out enough for me. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a dummy.
But he did say that to her. 15,000 men with Daemon.
I thought Ormond was Daemon for a sec there.
Okay.
And I'm like, why is he not blonde and not a dragon? And then eventually over time it clicked. I'm like, okay, this is just another Hightower guy.
If you remember Otto's brother in season 1, he's his son.
I liked him. Prissy little bitch boy. Love it.
And he's a great actor. Whenever he rocks up, he's good.
The guy stinks too much, so like, let me smell my nice smelling salts.
So Alicent, we then see, is writing a letter, which is pretending to be Aemond, that she's sending to Ormond, going, "Stay where you are, I'll be there in 3 days."
Yep.
Because she doesn't want Ormond or Daemon coming to the city. And then she's then obviously went and manipulated Aemond, going, "You should have been king." So Aemond can go to Harrenhal, kill Daemon. Don't worry about all those extra dragons Rhaenyra's got. I struggle with the logic, because he would still fundamentally still go, she's got 3 extra dragons.
Yeah, and he doesn't know where they are.
Yeah.
Whereas they could very well be with Caraxes.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
I think Ormond was a little bit suspicious, because you can see, like, he kind of could feel maybe this isn't real.
Or he really doesn't give a shit.
One king is as good as another.
I can't remember exactly how Ormond, whatever characterization there is of Ormond in the history book.
I don't think we're going to get much of him, considering we barely got any and we're already 1/7 through the season.
He stood out.
He did.
And we also know who else stood out.
I mean, Daemon?
Daemon, who was right behind him. You know, the boy he was talking to, who he said, "Go and make sure our man is in a nice tent." And he goes, "Right away." And the boy walks past Ormond. That actor is playing Link in the live-action Link movie.
He looked like a small boy. I did not pay attention.
He is Daemon Targaryen, most likely. The question is now in the fandom is he dyeing his hair brown to not stand out amongst people?
He's flying a fucking dragon. What do you mean not stand out among people?
And because he was sent there to be, because he's like the third son of the king, he's sent there to be like the page or assistant to
Technically
the
a squire.
Lord, the squire. Or because he has the brown hair of his mother, bit embarrassing. It's like, oh, we don't have a blonde-haired son.
That's why they sent him
we're
away.
going to send him away.
I missed that completely.
Yeah, they want you to miss him because he's out of focus.
But the end of last season, he was flying a dragon.
Yeah, and the dragon's right there. But then he's obviously still like being a little page.
Interesting.
To Lord
Okay.
Ormond. Obviously, the episode opens on your MVP, your favourite of favourites. It's Rhaenyra, right where we left her.
Literally right where we left her. To the point where I don't know if any time has passed, which really takes away
Feels
from...
like a day.
I'm a big How to Train Your Dragon fan. Normally you have to train your dragon, or at least become friends with it.
Nettles apparently spent weeks like winning him over with sheep.
Why didn't we just do that last season? We could have had everything the same.
And just have Rhaenyra pottering about with the sheep going, what's she up to?
We cut back to her and you're like just seeing her dragging sheep. Like you could even hide the dragon from us. Why is Rhaenyra, every time we cut back to her, leading sheep into a cave?
Yes.
Like what an odd thing for her to do.
Personally, my choice would have been to not have Rhaenyra and have Nettles be the bastard daughter of Daemon, which she might be in the book. And I think having the legitimate daughter and the bastard daughter would have been interesting.
I don't know if that's any more or less interesting than one daughter that got a dragon immediately and the other daughter that never got a dragon until the very end. I don't find that super different.
There is a quote from Ryan, basically, why it's not Nettles, because we already have a young woman who doesn't have a dragon, who's here already.
Yeah, I see that from a writing perspective. I'm not mad
just
at
the
that.
practical.
Except that only works if you had ever given Rhaenyra a character. I don't know who the fuck Rhaenyra is. That whole, we already have this girl. Maybe we should have done something with her.
Her whole thing in season 1 and season 2 was, we should have a dragon.
She's always been the side character. She's nothing. At least her sister Baela.
She just has more of a presence to her, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Like she's doing something.
She had the Torn Between Two Worlds.
Yeah.
She was able to like counsel Jace. I wish they had more together as well. So like it just seems like so many wasted opportunities. I think that's what annoys me about the show more than the actual show. Because again, once this episode was over, I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. But then every time something comes up, you're like, oh, they could have done this. Like
she tries to attempt to fly him, speaking the language, like the song, but Sheepstead doesn't want to know about it.
But he does enough to get to where the plot needs him to be.
Yes.
But I do like that he's there because I think it's fun that Jace and Baela are flying along thinking they've just saved the day. And then there's a really big dragon coming in.
Yeah. They kind of speedrun her winning him over. She like flies him. He abandons her on like the top of a thing, flies away, comes back and vomits up 2 sheep and a subscribe button. I was like, oh, all the bile. But then when you burn it with Dragonfire, I guess all the germs would be gone.
I enjoyed that moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, wouldn't this have been great as a little Rhaenyra story? Like, Rhaenyra's giving everything she can to try to get this dragon. She's on the brink of death.
She almost has to go feral to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, she becomes one with the dragon.
That would have been interesting if it's like, it's not so much Sheep Stealer having to go get house trained for her. She has to get a bit feral for Sheep Stealer.
Yeah.
How it changes her character.
That way you can kind of get her a bit more on the Nettles direction.
I think what people liked about the Nettles thing was that she won her dragon through smart.
Yes. For a young black girl, if it was Nettles black in the...
Yeah. She's like one of the few black dragon riders in the book canon.
Are the Valerians confirmed black in the book?
No,
Okay,
they're
so
white.
Nettles was the one black character. Okay, then I can see why people are annoyed.
Daemon, because he's an absolute Chad, still wearing the same armor he's been wearing for 20 years, but not on his dragon.
He wants to be amongst it.
He wants to be amongst it,
He's
which
a fiend.
fairly on character for our
Yeah.
Daemon. I'll go there. Also, for the sake of us, it's pretty. We need to see him walk around. The soldiers are killing the mountain lions because the Lannisters take lions to war.
But I really hope you remember last season.
When Jason Lannister was meant to be coming down,
Yeah, and the fact that he's a twin.
it would have been perfectly fine if this was episode 9 and we had episode 8. They've won this battle.
I don't know where this battle is or why this battle is.
I felt like it was like just outside of Harrenhal, like in the fields of the Riverlands.
Last season, he walked down the steps of Harrenhal, saw his army.
Yeah.
But this was just a big old field. At least Rook's Rest had some staging to it. You had the castle, you had the cliff. You knew the baddies, the Greens, were coming out of the forest. Whereas here, it was just a blank field.
And I think Jason Lannister, I think he intended or hoped Vhagar would be rocking up for this battle.
Vhagar was supposed to be with Cole and Hightower.
Working their way up to Harrenhal.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that was the plan, to wait until all the armies with Vhagar were converging
Right.
in.
Well, they fucked
But
up
they
real
fucked
bad.
up big time.
Maybe it's because no one checks where anyone else is.
So they've kicked their ass, and then we get the little, which might be a character thing, where it's rubbing shoulders between the Lord of the Riverlands and the King Consort, basically. To be fair, technically, Daemon is correct. He's
Oh, yeah.
like, burn bodies that don't carry plague, and also my dragon needs to eat. So, win-win.
It's smarts versus religion, tradition.
Yeah.
So, like, I like that. And again, if we had more of that last season between these two characters,
It's what I want. It's what we
it
wanted.
would have worked.
We wanted some of the flashback stuff, but if then we had the
Yeah.
leadership, like, elbowing, it would have been good.
Daemon should have to be balancing that. Like, Daemon is basically in charge of them, sure, but you want them on side. So you do have to be like, all right, we will spend the time to dig these trenches.
As we said, you can't just rock up like Aegon the Conqueror and go, I'm in charge now.
You don't have to be king to be a leader, like something like that.
Stuff like that.
But then we get a sick moment because the White Wolves, the Grey Wolves.
How dare you, the White Wolves? There's only one White Wolf.
And this is the moment that, again, was funny because they throw out the Lannister head. And you're like, isn't that the other guy? Wait, yeah, okay, cool. If you're a normal person while watching this show and you're a bit sleepy, you're fucked.
I like that he says the line from the book, we've come to die for the Dragon Queen.
I like
that.
his delivery of
Yeah,
that.
very, very, like, straight.
Fucking on the money.
There's a behind the scenes clip of him doing it with his sunnies on, and he looks hard as fuck.
I did like that the actor was directed to at least look and go, fuck me, there's a dragon there. And
Oh,
then,
he did?
like,
That's
you
good.
know,
That's good.
Like, I thought that was a nice little touch. And I do like that their outfits was a little bit more like barbarian.
And like battle worn.
Yeah,
like,
battle
yeah.
worn.
This
Yeah,
is what they
because they're
do.
old,
They survive battles and then they die eventually.
Yeah, because they're here to protect the North for the winter.
And this is good because it actually carries straight on from Jace getting them across the twins. They say, oh, they're retreating to the twins or they're retreating back.
Yeah.
And then if you remember, you're like, aha, but there's naughty boys coming across the twins.
And they thankfully edited out because they initially, I think that's one of the options, they had Lord Stark walking with them.
Oh.
But then they edited him out, so I guess they just wanted to have the option in case they
I
thought
really
we should-
enjoyed that little baby Ned Stark. I thought he did great. So
We'll
I would
see
like
him
to see
again
him
eventually.
back. Cool. But he's going to come back and Jace isn't going to be there. They were buddies. That's lame. I wish we saw them hanging out at the start of last season.
Also, isn't that just easy fan service, having a Stark Lord doing
and like
some
he
shit?
he looks the part, he acts the part. I mean, it would have given Jace something to do for a lot of last season if they did cut back and forth. And again, you could have done someone becoming a leader. It would have been interesting if you had a bunch of plot lines of people learning to become leaders and learning to become kings in different ways.
Despite their legitimacy or not
Yeah.
legitimacy, yeah.
Like everyone can be a good leader and then we'll see who actually ends up being. Then you would have like 10 options of like, they would be a good king for this reason. And then it's like, oh, they died. Oh, they died. And then you'd like be crossing them off.
Of course.
Then we end up in the big main section of the episode, which is you kind of get it split between three things, I guess you could say. You get the sky, you get the main battle, and then you get a little chasey chase with Corlys and Lohar.
First, we have Corlys, once again, in case you guys didn't know, just doesn't have a great relationship with his bastard sons. So we have a scene where, weirdly, it starts with Alan already in the room, standing by the door. I guess they just cut 5 seconds of him opening the door and going, Alan, do come in. He's just standing at the door. It's like, Alan, come. And it's basically him going like, look, I liked your mum enough.
He's also very retrospective because he's down a wife now.
He's down an heir.
All his kids.
He's soon to be down 2 heirs. And yeah, his kids are gone. But he wants to at least try and build a connection with what family he's got left. And that's what that scene is. But Alan does say, when he hears the plan, he's like, I don't know much about this enemy, but I feel like Aemon's someone who'd rather just let it all burn down and give it up. So I was like, yeah, that's a good point from Alan there, which Alan is a wise character, so it's nice to at least have some of that there. Then quickly it becomes, oh no, the Triarchy here, who saw this coming? Because they were expecting something like the...
They were expecting the Green Fleet, which I guess they thought would be small. The Triarchy rock up, and then it's a ship battle. This is a very ugly part of the episode. I hate how it looks. The way they shot this, if you look at the behind the scenes, it's incredible. They've got like big motion controlled ships, like 6 million tons of water, like everything smashing into each other. The sets look incredible. But you don't feel any of that motion. I'm like comparing this to Pirates of the Caribbean. This is why this couldn't be in last season, because they needed to do these giant ships in this giant battle. But the way they shot it, it looked like a volume set, basically. It looked like this was shot with The Mandalorian or like Percy Jackson.
I think it looked better than those shows.
All of the CGI looked fantastic whenever it was a wide and it was like that. But when it was close up on just like Adam and Corlys,
Yeah.
the depth of field was so shallow that you literally just have them and then like no sense of space. Everything was a mid shot for like most of it. They had so much to work with and all of those shots just looked so gross to me.
Yeah, it was literally was a muddy looking visual.
Yeah, like I get it, it's war. I think it was the shallow depth of field for me. Like shallow depth of field just feels cheap to me. And you built those sets for real. You have all this stuff for real. Show it off. Don't just like hide it behind blur.
I suppose though that the sequence itself, I actually really applaud. I felt that I was never really lost. I felt that we had very clear elements of what was going on, where we were and who was doing what and why.
In the Bitch Fist and the Queen That Never Was, those 2 boats, yes, for that. Everywhere else, again, I get it, it's war, it's chaos.
Right.
But I had no idea where anything was. I didn't even know we were really, like, the fact that he come around the corner and he can suddenly see his home burning, it just felt so off-screen to me.
I like the addition that Lohar would have a major beef with Corlys, who would have spent at that point 20 years doing shit on the stepstones.
And also giving them a little fight to go off and do really grounds you.
I was like, yeah, I'm here to burn down fucking High Tide and stay there and fuck him off. And I'm like, okay, that is cool. I think that's good. Tyrion Lannister's like, the fuck? Like, we're here to do this one thing and you're trying to fuck this up already. We mud wrestled, man.
But I didn't love that because Tyrion Lannister, he's nothing. And the way he maybe dies, again, like just like a blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, I think we all know TV logic is no body, no death.
Well,
like,
yeah, we get Corlys' body rocking up in the, not post-credits, but the very last shot is Corlys. Oh, wait, no. The next time on, Corlys is alive. Spoilers.
It's funny because Corlys is meant to be like 75. In this book.
He looks great.
I mean, the actor's 61, so the actor looks great, but like obviously age doesn't matter, particularly with Alicent and her kids, but like he's in the book, he's literally in his mid-70s. He's knackered.
I like that he gets to show off his abilities and he's like, step aside, I'll guide this cool bit. That was the most tense part of the episode. And I don't think it should be when there's dragons in the sky.
The Corlys sequence is great because he's like, right, we need to lead, it's her now. Confirmed her. Lohar is her. So whatever they were thinking of doing last time, it doesn't matter, which is fine. I quite like that they said, we're going to go through that passage, take out High Tide, because then he's going to want to go back to High Tide.
Yeah, you get rid of the main ship and you get rid of the captain of the army. And that way it's like, they won't know what to do. They'll just fuck around.
And I guess they were expecting some dragons because they have not scorpions, but they have the harpoons.
I hated those. I don't know what happens in the book, like sure, but Lohar getting one and immediately pinging Jace. I'm glad Jace didn't die the first shot.
Because as a book fan, I was like, oh, really? We're doing it already?
Yeah, it's basically like every time someone fires the scorpion or the harpoon, it lands.
I think the logic was Jace got too low, so then he spends the rest being too high. Then when Sheepstealer comes in, he goes low again and then gets caught.
I feel like we needed a reason for those mistakes. Like if he was trying to rescue his kid.
But that's what we reckon in the book.
Come
He's
down,
trying to look
grab.
and
Yeah, that makes sense. Because otherwise, it's giving me season 8 flashbacks flashbacks where like Daenerys is like 300 meters in the sky and immediately gets
Perfect
pinged.
crack
Do you know
shot.
how insane shooting something moving is?
And also the difference in like
You're
the
doing
speed,
this, they're doing that.
Did you pick up the sheep stealer? It just bounced off because he's an older, stronger dragon. So they harpoon sheep stealer, it just pings off him. Since Jace Vermax is a younger dragon, it's like the same
like
age as
softer
Jace,
scales.
like 15. So yeah, it's soft and obviously it's always sad. It's like is it the Never-Ending Story with the horse and the,
Yeah, it's-
you know.
That was a very good moment, very well shot, very well directed, very well acted, but it did feel a little bit like...
We barely knew you, Jace.
And the thing you hate about Avatar 3, oh, the whale's dying. This sad creature is drowning. Of course I'm going to be sad. Like,
Yeah.
it's playing on your emotions that are
Kicking
too
the
simple.
puppy, yeah.
Yeah, I cared more about the dragon dying because that's sad more than I did about Jace.
Yeah.
And I cared more about Jace's lost potential than I did Jace. And I don't think that was their idea. They wanted me to spend the whole season going, Jace might be a really good king. Oh, he's dead. Instead, I'm like, oh, I like that we're finally getting to see Jace. Oh, Jace is dead.
Because I was there going, this moment would have been really fucking cool if we just had a season of cool Jace
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
Of like, wow, because I still feel like we barely know you, Jace. The only
Yep.
reason you've got a fandom is because you're attractive. I've got a student who she knew he was going and she was still pissed off when she saw it.
Yeah.
And why does she like him? Because he's hot.
Yeah, but Rhaenyra now has rocked up on Sheep Stealer because she saw the smoke from a distance, wanted to help. I like that she lost control.
I do like that he has a massive underbite.
Oh,
the dragon designer, whoever it is.
Yeah, the
excellent
Sheep Stealer
work,
design
you know.
was impeccable, and that gave me flashbacks to How to Train Your Dragon again. 'cause
Like the patchy
they all look
cow
different.
burn mark
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
like
it's great.
I loved Sheep Stealer's design, so I'm glad Sheep Stealer made it out alive.
Yeah.
But Sheep Stealer's doing that attacking, and I think that was quite tense as well. Of like, who's this new dragon? We're going to go fight this dragon.
And then they see a dragon.
And then how, for one. But, you know, they all have eagle eye, and they're all yelling at each other. They're all talking and communicating, but whatever. But
It's amazing what they can see without like even because they don't have any kind of eyewear as well.
yeah, like, where's my goggles? But I enjoyed all that. I'm glad that Sheep Stealer was the reason, because now Rhaenyra's going to feel awful.
And then Rhaenyra could be a bit like, fuck Rhaenyra.
But I wish I knew Rhaenyra. That's my main problem here, is like, I want to feel for Rhaenyra, but instead, I don't even know what she's like, because she's literally, her character so far has been sitting there solemnly like stroking a dragon figurine.
The biggest character development is that they changed her hair between season 1 and 2.
And then again for this one, because it's been another 2 years.
I think it's it's always this thing of like, haven't we had like 20 hours in this world? How have we not covered these bases?
Yeah.
Because the first season is so like crown style story of the episode,
Yeah.
which then gets abandoned now, obviously. For the glory of Vizzy T, everything else has to be shit, basically.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
weird idea for a season of TV and like for a structure of a show.
Yeah.
Because of the source material. And again, they're not straying too far from it.
No. They're hitting plot beats reasonably well.
But that's also like holding them back because they
Yeah.
have no freedom because they have to do this or you will get angry. But basically, yes, Jace's dragon finally dies because he gets hit by another one. I like that he was low because of Sheep Stealer, or like he was slower because he was doing something else.
There's the way, and then Baylor couldn't get to him now.
Yeah.
Because Baylor's got the smaller, quicker dragon.
Jace is drowning, finally detaches himself in, again, a very How to Train Your Dragon.
I
Like,
think he's just going to get out of it. They give you just enough.
yeah, I think
Even
that was
I
good.
was like, oh, are we not going to... Oh, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Everything was very green though. See how green it is? Look how gross that looks.
it's almost like they looked at some of those either official art or fan art of dead Jace on like kind of like Jack on the board, kind of with the
Yeah.
arrows. We both didn't like that moment where it cuts to Lohar and Thailand fighting on the boat in a mid shot. And it just felt like, of all the things they had, they didn't have enough time to do good choreography. So it was just a lot of like, ha ha!
You duck.
Yeah. Lohar's acting.
What acting?
I think the acting is absolutely fine and good. I just think when you're in a HBO show and you're next to seasoned actors, I
Yeah.
know she's a trained actor and she's been in a few things, but she's next to, these are like seasoned day players and all this.
Yeah.
And you can just feel the difference with Thailand and like, because you feel like she's playing a role.
She's playing a pirate.
She's playing the pirate. Oh, when you get, when you get lost in the drink. I mean, if we had a mustache, we'd be twirling it.
It didn't track for me.
I was happy to see her go.
That annoys me. Such a big part of the last season,
The
mud
2-episode
wrestling,
arc
we get so...
character.
And then, then she's just gone.
But as we said in the magazine, it's her 3 years of House of the Dragon.
Yes, she says in the behind the scenes, it's been 3 years on the House of the Dragon.
It's been about 20 minutes
Yeah,
for
that's
us.
a Shooty Gatwa 5 years as the Doctor. But same with Thailand in that regard. Like Thailand, yes, he was always on the council, but once he got sent off, he became a character, and
Yeah.
this was his thing now. And his arc was, I'm going to mud wrestle a girl, win, and then immediately fall into the water.
Yeah.
And possibly die.
But who cares? That's the problem.
Oh, 100%.
Who cares if he does or doesn't die? What did you think of Alan finally saying father? Now he's lost it. He's realised. I was a bit like, okay.
You see, for me, it just feels like the actor was stoked to get off that dock.
I will say Lohar did a wonderful job of dying.
You are better at dying.
I think the desperation of trying to get breath.
And then the slow sinking beneath the water. That was just a good scene. The set, again, was like the water level actually rose and
they
lowered.
were saying they had like almost like the creakiness when the boats crashed into each other.
Yeah.
There was all this stuff that you don't think about or really even appreciate until you see it.
On that boat, that set was actually sinking. Like, super cool set piece. It's very Mission Impossible. Like, yes, we're fighting, but there's other stuff happening. That's my favorite thing. And I think that's what the boats didn't do. They were just having a fight, whereas it kind of felt like there was dragons burning everything.
Yeah.
Like the set should have mattered more than it did.
Last little thing is the Dragonseeds have their little thing. They have their little... they're immediately not pleased that they're there.
God, Ulf White is good.
Ulf White is... I mean, I love it. He goes, at least I'll get
a castle.
It reminded me of the...
I'm gonna leave the island and live right down there.
That's Buckingham Palace.
I'm going to be a knight. I'm going to get a castle. No, you... I wish it was more funny. No, you won't get a castle.
I think that's why it worked for me, because it wasn't played for laughs. It was Adam being like, wait a minute, no you won't. Like,
yeah.
You get a horse. And he's like, what the fuck do I need a horse for? I was like, that's
men have to
good.
respect... You have to respect me because of the big fuck-off dragon.
Yeah,
Like,
which again is dumb that Rhaenyra sent these people without like a guard.
even just a background check. Like,
But send her like most trusted guy to like look, someone that isn't a dragon rider that she trusts to look after the 3 dragon riders. Because Ulf White's a loose cannon. Adam is good, but she has no idea who the
Hammer
fuck he
seems
is.
solid.
But also, again, she has no idea who the fuck she is.
And he's got fucking Vermithor. He's got like the number 2 biggest dragon
Yeah.
on the board. Like,
And like, sure, those two seem like solid and they'll probably keep Ulf in line, but obviously not, because he goes for a run because he's trying to take a shit and he sees a goat
there's the one
man.
with God's Eye.
Oh, that's the spooky one.
That's the spooky island where all the weirwoods are, and that's where the Green Man is.
So the Green Man is Satyr.
Yeah, it's like I think they're a mix of like not like a mix of like humans and children of the forest.
Is Alice Rivers the Green Man, or is she separate to the Green Man?
Separate.
Because she is a witch, and
It's like
I
the
do enjoy that
spirit of
line.
Harrenhal kind of thing.
Also, this is an island. How'd she get to the island? So like witchy
Or
stuff.
she's like projecting through the trees.
also,
like that
yeah,
stuff.
but like spooky witch lady.
But she sends them away.
I love her line though. It was like, and who are you? I'm a witch. And it's like, oh, fair enough, spooky lady.
I'm a wizard. Obviously, we're seeding that. I don't know. For some reason, you'd think Ulf White would just be happy to be in a castle with a dragon, having regular food every day. He's already seen the dollar signs. He already wants more. And he's a glutton for it.
Well, that's the thing. He's not in the castle though. Currently, he has to fight on the front lines, and he doesn't really want to do that.
I do like the story that like he never believed it. He's kind of had it because at least he had something, a tale to tell in the bar.
Yeah, I enjoyed that little chat with those guys.
I still desperately wish. I think in the book it's the same that Hugh the Hammer and Ulf were already friends. I just
Right.
think that would have been good going in. That they pre-established, like I said, Uncle Ulf. But the silver hair boys, both blood
Yeah.
the dragon lads. Everyone knows they're Targaryen bastards.
It gives another dynamic than, hey, these 3 people that have never met.
The fact that Adam maybe still is, but he's at least grown up in the shadow of High Tide. He's known who he is, so he's at least a little bit more proper.
Yeah.
Because he wants to live up to that.
Yeah.
So that's why he speaks that way. But as ever, even though these episodes, it's the same with last season, the episodes themselves, moment to moment, are pretty solid. We got some good stuff. Keen to see more of our High Tower glue sniffer.
I can't super see where we're going, as in like I don't, apart from general keen for next week,
Yeah.
I have no specific things that I'm keen on seeing, because like Rhaenyra is going to keep doing nothing as far as I can tell.
As a book fan, and I guess we're just, for those book fans, very curious what we're going to do with Daemon, knowing exactly where he ends up in the book and why and all this. It's interesting what we did with him in season 2 to now what we're going to probably have to do with him in season 3.
Oh, that's right. Yes, no, I've heard of what will be the finale.
I don't think that's going to be the finale of season 3. I think they're going to hang that over. Just have Matt do another...
Well, we only have 8 episodes this season, which is what annoys me. Season 1 is 10. Season 2, they were like, sorry, we had to take off the last 2 because they were so big. Was it? Because this one's 8. So why isn't this one 10?
But at least now they at least know it was 8, so they can at
I
least...
don't believe that for a minute, that they suddenly found out they ran out of budget. These things are planned so far in advance. There's no way they couldn't have skewed stuff. There are so many expensive scenes they could have cut out to end up with this episode at the end of last. Also, it's HBO. They have gazillion dollars. This is their biggest show.
Yeah.
This pulled in 21 million viewers on the premiere, which is 8% down.
But from a 2-year ago show.
Yeah, only 8%.
At least Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it did less. It put a positive spin on the Game of Thrones world again.
Daredevil Born Again season 2 had a 50% drop off from a show that came out last year.
Yeah.
This was 2 years ago, still only dropped 8%. This is by far their biggest show.
But my main problem is, and we'll see where we go, I mean, those lucky bastards who got the first 4 episodes seem to be quite positive, but then maybe they would be inclined to be positive. All these characters are simply just surface level interesting. Ulf White is cool. I'm going to see about 4 minutes of him this season.
Yes, that's my problem.
And that's my problem.
Yeah, I would love to see some Rhaenyra stuff. But season 2, we spent the whole time with Rhaenyra sad because her son died.
It was just the same beat
We've
every
just started
episode.
the next season. Her son just died. She's going to be sad
But
again.
it has to be that this is a proactive move. Jace is dead, so now I'm going to go do it.
She has so many dragons.
Next episode will be what should have been the end. My prediction, it's her sitting on the empty throne. If you see the future stuff, we are seeing Rhaenyra is in.
Yes, I've seen, the whole trailer.
It's like her managing the city. Finally gets to be queen. Small aside in the continuation of the George Ryan beef.
Something popped up?
Well, the nicer side, I'm sure my fellow book fans would have seen that every dragon banner I saw behind Aemond, I was like, oh, 2 legs on the dragon.
Oh, they borrowed the ones from Night of the Seven
they must have
Kingdoms?
borrowed. Yeah, they aren't doing the 4-leggeds, except in the opening, which has now been slightly changed, where it's a double fuck you by accident, if not. They have a 4-legged Blackfyre dragon sigil behind George R. R. Martin's name. It's meant to be a tapestry of the history of Targaryens up to the point of where we are. So why are we showing the Blackfyre rebellion that is 60, 70 years after this?
That's right, because it starts with the Jaehaerys, die off.
Yeah. What the fuck are we doing with this?
You see, I kind of missed the season 1 intro where it would show the bloodlines, and then, because I think it was, you would now see Jace's stop in the next episode. That would be kind of fun.
And then it would have been cool one time we got to the end of this, it maybe is just a few bloodlines. And then you emphasise the fact that we started
you
with
see
so
one
many.
fuck off to Daenerys.
And then when you zoom out, you see where all the blood stopped. So then you've just...
that could have been fun. Whereas this one, it's pretty, but it doesn't tell me anything. Whereas the good thing about the Game of Thrones one, it would always remind you where the places were.
I guess just whoever was in charge of the intro needed more visuals, and they were like, fuck it, let's just have the black, but it's black, right? Because they're the blacks. And it's probably what they're thinking,
but
the greens and the blacks.
Accidentally the Blackfyre.
Because it's meant to be that it's gold on a green field versus in the traditional red on a black field. That's the black part.
Right.
Greens and
but
blacks.
But they fucked up.
They fucked up and did the Blackfyre sigil with 4 legs.
We didn't talk at all about Christian Cole. He's still doing his whole thing.
The Christian Cole thing, it's the same beat from last episode.
Yeah.
Our man, he's seen the world burning and has decided he's on a suicide mission. He's going to die eventually.
Yeah, he lost his honor. No one else is being honorable.
Pretty cool that Gawain, because he's from the Reach, which is the more traditional knightly type.
Yeah.
He's like, well, he just violated a woman. We need to talk to the men and rah 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 and give him a hanging. And I did like Cole's characterization, hang him then.
But it all should have happened in 4 episodes. I'm sick of 10 minutes, I'm sick of 3 minutes of Cole per episode. But that
to me felt like just a reminder of here's where Cole is, by the way.
100%.
Because we got that last episode. The same beat was in episode 8 of last season.
The only relevance was he was waiting for Vhagar, but that doesn't need to happen this season.
He was painting his little shield. In terms of a technical scale, this is a great episode of TV in that, and it's a great opener for season 3. It would have been a great close of season 2.
That's one thing I will say about this versus Night of Seven Kingdoms. Night of Seven Kingdoms is better, but it is very nice watching an hour-long meaty episode.
It's a good, strong 8 out of 10. I enjoyed the episode, but I still reserve my worries with what they're doing with all these characters, particularly Rhaenyra and Alicent.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was just structurally kind of messy. Anyway,
thank
you for watching. Feel free to subscribe, and send it to your friend.